All right, now we have some tragic news. CNN anchor and longtime Trump hater Jim Acosta made the announcement on a show yesterday that he is quitting. It was his last show, and the background here is that CNN wanted to move Jim Acosta from his daytime slot to midnight. I think he was on at 10 a.m., and they wanted to move him to midnight, which is, I mean, that's how much faith and pride the CNN brass had in Jim Acosta. That's how you know, right, that you're doing a great job on TV when your bosses come to you and say, we want to move your time slot. Oh, how far do you want to move it? About 14 hours. we want to just push it back a bit, about 14 hours, And because there are probably about 10 people watching CNN at midnight, which is only half of their primetime audience, so it's a pretty steep drop. And so Acosta wouldn't do it. Acosta would not allow his show to be moved to midnight, which is a little surprising, considering that Jim Acosta, no offense, is a blood-sucking vampire goblin. So you'd think that midnight would be perfect for him. As a brainless zombie, you'd think that the graveyard shift would be right up his alley. But he said no, and so he gave his dramatic sign-off yesterday. Here it is.
It is never a good time to bow down to a tyrant. I've always believed it's the job of the press to hold power to account. I've always tried to do that here at CNN, and I plan on doing all of that in the future. One final message. Don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth and to hope. Even if you have to get out your phone, record that message. I will not give in to the lies. I will not give in to the fear. Post it on your social media so people can hear from you too. I'll have more to say about my plans in the coming days, but until then, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. It has been an honor to be welcomed into your home for all these years. That's the news. Reporting from Washington, I'm Jim Acosta.
Good Lord. What a dork. I mean, I know this is not the most profound insight, but what a dork this guy is. Just a dork. Like, this is, I don't condone bullying, but this is why bullies fill a role in society. This is someone who just needs to be shoved into a locker. Like, this is someone who just needs to have his head dunked in a toilet and be shoved into a locker. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying that should happen. I guess I did just say it should happen, but that's not, I figuratively, like metaphorically, in a totally metaphorical, non-physical sense, he needs to be, have his head dunked in the toilet and shoved into a metaphorical locker. Just a dork. Take out your phone. Post this message on your social medias. I will not give in to the lies. He's trying to start, and nobody posted that, by the way. Not a single person. He's trying to start a movement. Post it on your social media. No one did. Not a single person did. You could tell he wanted this so badly to be his network moment, right? His I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore moment. He wanted this to be this would be his iconic, defiant, bold, brave. You guys didn't remind me to turn this off. That's on you. He wanted this to be his defiant moment, and it just didn't. It didn't work, and instead it was just lame and boring. And on top of that, he fumbled over his words multiple times. So, huge dork, and that's it for Jim Acosta. I can only imagine that seeing him leave so abruptly was very upsetting for his viewer. So my condolences to that person. And we'll wait to see what Jim Acosta does next. I mean, no one is waiting to see what he does next. Nobody cares. But I'm sure we'll hear anyway. As we welcome a new year, it's time to focus on what matters most: creating healthier habits, enjoying more moments with family, and spending less money on going out to eat. GoodRanchers.com is here to help you turn all of your resolutions into solutions. When you buy your meat from Good Ranchers, you're directly supporting local farms and ranches in the U.S. and skipping the chaos and imported meat in the grocery store. Good Ranchers delivers high-quality, 100% American meat straight to your door, so you can start 2025 with better choices, better meals, and better moments at home while still enjoying steakhouse-quality meats. Best part, there are no antibiotics, hormones, or seed oils, so you can feel good about what you're fueling your body with. All their cuts are pre-trimmed, pre-portioned, individually packaged, and vacuum sealed, which makes meal prepping easy, even on the busiest days. Good Ranchers leaves you with less food waste and less wasted time. Remember to visit goodranchers.com and use my code Walsh to claim $25 off, free express shipping, and your choice of free ground beef, chicken, or salmon in every order for an entire year. If spending more time with family, spending less time on going out to eat, and enjoying quality, nutritious American food is on your resolution list this year, then be sure to visit goodranchers.com and use my code Walsh today for meat that delivers just that. Goodranchers.com, American meat delivered. Yesterday was the first White House press briefing of the new Trump administration. The new White House press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, had her debut, and she did a nice job. The makeup of the room for the press briefing looked different than what we usually have seen, and because Trump is allowing outlets other than the typical legacy media outlets into the room. They're still in the room, but he's also allowing others. The Daily Wire is there now with our excellent reporter, Mary Margaret Olahan. And they also announced that there will be a new media seat, which I think is the idea is they're going to give one-day passes to various figures in new media to attend press briefings, which of course means that I have to apply, right? I mean, I have to do it, don't I? I have to get into the press briefing room and try to ask a question. Now, granted, it won't be as fun for me as it would have been had I press credentials during the Biden administration, because then I could troll, Biden's press secretary, which would have been a lot of fun. The trolling takes on a different tone when I actually like the people. So it's a friendlier troll, which is just frankly not as fun. But either way, I feel like I do have an obligation, so we'll have to look into that. But for now, I want to play one moment from the briefing. Leavitt, as promised by Trump, revealed the truth behind those drones that had everybody freaking out for like a month. And Trump had promised that he would look into it, and whatever he finds out, he'd let us know. And so she opened the press briefing by giving us the update, and here it is.
After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
So that's the answer we're told to the drone mystery, which should be major headline news, shouldn't it? I mean, people were obsessed with the drones for a month, weeks on end about the drones, and now Trump is coming out with a statement to explain what it was all about, and people are like, yeah, whatever. And this is how it goes. So we go from caring obsessively about something to not at all. And we don't even stop. There's no stopover in between. There's no pit stop along the way from caring obsessively to not at all. It's either care obsessively or not at all. There's no mild interest. That's not a gear that we have in the internet age. It's just how the news cycle works, I guess. Now, granted, the explanation Trump gives is quite boring. These are drones authorized by the FAA combined with hobbyists and recreational drones. And if that's the case, it of course raises a question, which is, why didn't the Biden administration just say that? If the drones were authorized by the FAA would have obviously known that. And so the Biden administration would know that. And which would mean that there was never any mystery about the drones. From the moment people started asking questions about it, the Biden administration knew exactly what it was. And but they didn't just say that. They didn't tell us. Now, there is another explanation here, of course, and a lot of people on social media are just kind of refusing to believe that this explanation is correct. They're saying that there must be something that we're not being told. There must still be more to the story. And that might be the case. I don't know. But I actually find it extremely plausible that there was a benign explanation for this that Biden just refused to give us. That is also very plausible. I mean, that tracks, right? That's the kind of totally gratuitous disrespect for the American people that you would expect from the Biden regime. Something is happening. People are asking about it. the Biden administration could just tell us, but chooses not to, chooses to let people panic needlessly. Why? Well, in part, it's because it was a nice distraction. And I think for the Biden administration, anything that distracted people from the fact, from the failures of the Biden administration was a positive. So there was that. But also, I think they just had a contempt for the American people. And then they resented the idea that they should have to explain anything to us. So if people were living in New Jersey and feeling a bit vulnerable, not sure if there was some sort of, if these were Chinese drones, if there was some kind of an attack, alien attack. I think the Biden administration looked at that and they said, I don't care. Okay, yeah, I don't care if they feel that way. Yes, we could easily say something that would calm these fears, but we're just not going to. So that tracks. That to me, that is perfectly believable. Thanks for checking out this video. If you'd like to listen to my full podcast on the go, you can check out The Matt Walsh Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.